Very good evening. One among the important factors to consider with respect to security threats, we believe to be the Jammu Kashmir is one face of two coins with respect to several distinguished activities so far after independence. We know that Jammu Kashmir is a kingdom era once upon a time because earlier on the particular date of independence in the year of 1947, there is an option from the Mountbatten, the Chris Mission, that is called as either someone princely state can join India or else the Pakistan. Whomsoever concerned among 552 princely states were there, until their remaining 3 princely states were not adequately enough to deal the things in a India concern, because one is Nizama, that is Telangana and Andhra Pradesh earlier. We got Operation Polo for that, so it is invaded from the kingdom era. After that, Junagadh is one among the princely states. It is situated in Gujarat. Thereby, the people's vote, they happened, and they inculcate with respect to people representation. So they are willing to join with India. So they concerned it. But one portion remained, that was the princely state of Raja Hari Singh, that is Jammu Kashmir. On that occasion, he himself is not ready to join either of the state. Earlier it was not a nation, it is a state, either in India concern or in Pakistan concern. There we know that the great unity of India, who is the Statue of Unity? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He himself witnessed Raja Hari Singh and appealed to join India. But despite it is not happened to be okay with the Raja Hari Singh, at that time there is a agreement of accession was taken up. What do you mean by agreement of accession? That particular agenda. That means any princely state are not willing to join in the mutual consent with the negotiation pattern, with the decide upon the communication, the princely state within the one particular state. That is a agreement of accession. So we got a agreement of accession from Raja Hari Singh in the year of 1947, and of course that was the last kingdom monarchy principle over Jammu and Kashmir. You know what? After 1947, many it is a democratic sense. The only 3 subject of concurrent list is within India, that is a defense and external affairs and communication, and thereby remaining the party only with the Jammu Kashmir people in the party, that's a democratic representation party. At that time, earlier the Prime Minister of Jammu Kashmir was situated after the kingdom era. There are many prime ministers who ruled the Jammu Kashmir because it is also a part of the India, but despite it is not, because the same coin is not matchable because of some agreement of accession. The 3 components which is handled by India, that is agreement of accession crew, one is external affairs, communication and defense. But remaining the local governance and policing, law and order is with the Jammu Kashmirian government itself. So there was a Prime Minister, Jammu Kashmir Prime Minister, and he ruled Jammu Kashmir with the inner pericula, that is internal magnitude. But despite what happened, the 4 or 5 consecutive Prime Minister was there. In the year of 1962, there is an agreement between the Prime Ministers of Jammu Kashmir and India so far. What was the agreement means? You are not calling as Prime Minister because it is a part of India, even though the agreement of accession is going in smoothly, so you called yourself as a Chief Minister of the Jammu Kashmir. So it happened to be a very rash dialogue, not in a smooth dialogue. Okay, with respect to the thing, so communication with the positive manner, it became the Prime Ministerhood to Chief Ministerhood. So you know that until 2019, the Jammu Kashmir is ruled by the Chief Ministers, about 8 to 12 Chief Ministers. So if you concentrate, the last Prime Ministers of Jammu Kashmir is Mohammad Siddiqui, and last chief minister of Jammu Kashmir is named as Anjikar Muhammad Bhatti something is name is there. So if you concentrate in a flagship initiative towards an administration, Jammu Kashmir is the key role to play until 2019. But now the scenario is interchanged. You know what Article 370 and Article 35A, what was the actual distinguished phenomena if you concentrate here in a constitutional validity? Article 370 means anything which with respect to aggravation on agreement of accession. Means I am binding in nature for a this much of clause and you are binding in nature with this much of clause. We both are agreemented and we both are accessored. So this is Article 370. But why it needs Article 35A means earlier what happened until 1962, from the 1947 to 1962, there is a lot behavioral culture towards the people of original population of Jammu Kashmir affected. You know, Pandit, lot of Pandits are there. They are not having a judgment capacity to Jammu Kashmir ruling. So, you know, the movie also it came up. The Pandit, yeah, it was one among the same story. The Kerala, the Kashmiri files. The name is the Kashmiri files. So, if you concentrate, one domain is not match up. So at that time what happened, even though we are not maintaining the dialogue with the internal affairs on Jammu Kashmir, there is a law. There is a law, Article 35, to respect them in terms of the original popularity, original popular Jammu Kashmirian, we have to respect. That is what called as Article 35A. Yes, this is the constitutional monarchy until 2019. You know, there is a twin balance problem here. One is Article 370 35A, another one is the external threat from the Pakistan, that is LOC, line of control, and also external threat by the China, that is line of actual control. You know what is the difference between LAC and LOC when it is propagated? That is what the need to learn before the Jammu Kashmir aspect. Number one, Jammu Kashmir is there is a territory, LAC means line of control by the Indo-Pak war after 1972. Indo-Pak war was assigned and there is a large number of troops were came up and invade the Jammu Kashmir. So it was not binding in nature, it was not signed properly, but still United Nations and India and Pakistan has a mutual concept of dialogue. We demand it's our land because they invade. It's not properly witnessing from the freedom struggle. Okay, but Pakistan is not willing. So United Nations is still in a subjective interpretation towards an obligation manner. So line of actual control was assigned. There is a demarcation boundary that is called as line of actual control. You know what? How much the length will be? The length of the line of control (LOC) is 740 kilometers. And if you concentrate the LOC, the Jammu and Kashmir. Earlier, you know, from 1947 to 2019, Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh is one among the same. There is one, it was a state, Jammu, Kashmir, that's all. After 2019, the Jammu Kashmir is separated and the Ladakh portion is separated. You consider why it is separated, what was an important agenda. Number one, Jammu Kashmir is situated towards the Punjab and Haryana and the bulk of the Jammu itself. So it is very prominent area towards the LOC, that is line of control by the Indo-Pak war, that is 740 kilometers. And if you concentrate another important story, it was in 1962, the 10 years before than the LOC, there is a Indo-China war was happened. And that is also called as the Sino-Indo war in 1962. There, the Chinese troops are incarcerated in the same manner and they ambush them, ambush the land and they incarcerate, they invade. So, line of actual control will be propagated. You know what? NAC is made by us and Pakistan, and even United Nations also interfered. But LAC, line of actual control by the China and India is there, no? That is not a properly agremented channel. That is a disputed instance. The land, if you concentrate the area network of LAC, is around 540 kilometers. But if you concentrate the whole geographical features of LAC, that is 3,488 square kilometers. So this is the huge introduction towards why it is very much after the than the other state, why it is very much after important to us. You know, in India, considering the ratio in a popularity or the populous, most populous country, because number one we are, and fourth largest economy, and we are already reaching a 5 trillion economy, and we are hopefully to upgrade ourselves with the 3 trillion economy. That means the third largest economy and 7 and 8 trillion capacity. Our GDP also increases. But the contribution of the Jammu Kashmir is commendable, because if you concentrate the population, there the population Jammu Kashmir around 1.23 crores, only Jammu and Kashmir Peninsula. If you concentrate the Ladakh portion, only 3 lakh population was there. You know what is the interesting story? Comparatively Jammu Kashmir, the Ladakh was very small. Even though Jammu Kashmir is huge popular country, state, and Ladakh is very much 3 lakh. Why? Because of the kilometrical exchange, Himalayan crunch, and it's not suffocated, it's not okay with the livelihood there. So the perimeter of the Jammu Kashmir is situated in the most vulnerable section, and also the geographical condition is also adverse in nature. But despite why it is important means we called the Jammu Kashmir is the Kirita, the monarch of the India, or we are well known that it is a fruit basket of India. That is Jammu Kashmir apple, Kashmiri apple, and groundnut, walnut, and so many things. We export that, right? Okay, it is the condition in a particular year until 2018. Coming to the point of the 2019, Article 370 and 35A was abolished. The state is very much freedom. That means doesn't mean that the NAC is curbed or LOC is curbed. Doesn't mean that. The actual interpretation towards the autonomy, other than the external agreements and also mutual communication and also defense system, we are ruling upon the internal aspect of the Jammu Kashmir. That was the actual meaning. Article 370 was abolished. And Article 35A is automatic regard because it is our peninsula, right? So, what is the interesting story after 2019 means we earlierly was come upon the 3 segment in one ball, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. But after the 2019 intervention from the Parliament, the abolition of the Article 370 and 35A, we are making the union territory. One is Jammu and Kashmir, another one is Ladakh. Even though the 3 lakh population was there in the Ladakh and 1.23 crores of population were there in the Jammu and Kashmir, we separated. There, what is the consequences? The consequences is we can clearly deal upon the local governance and also the state autonomy and also maintaining up as a Diu Daman and Delhi and Puducherry and Andaman Nicobar. These are all the union territory, right? But still there is a way of propaganda towards the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. What was? Jammu and Kashmir is a union territory and Ladakh also the union territory. You know what? Jammu and Kashmir, you know better than me, union territory having the lieutenant governor. Okay? Why CM is not there in Ladakh? Why CM is there for Jammu and Kashmir? Even though both are union territory. You know why? That means if the CM is happened, the legislative assembly is there. That is for sure. Ladakh is not having a legislative assembly. It is governing under Lieutenant Governor and the Secretary of the state. That means it is also a propaganda of the Puducherry and Andaman Nicobar, the same thing, nothing will different. But whereas in the case of Jammu and Kashmir, there is a Lieutenant Governor himself, and way back the CM is also there. So Umar Abdullah is present Chief Minister of the Jammu and Kashmir, and present Lieutenant Governor is Manoj Sinha. Actually, it was fortunate enough to say in my Jaichamarajendra College he came up. For my seniors alumni function was there. He was the chief guest. I saw means it was a great opportunity because I have not seen the governor until it was in 2022, I saw Manoj Sinha sir, Honorable Lieutenant Governor of the Jammu and Kashmir. He is very terrible man, very honesty, very transparent and very dignified. So his knowledge is command over the Jammu and Kashmir. You know what Operation Cocoon? Operation Cocoon is Veerappan napping, and he got a crunch over the decade story. It was a movie in Sandalwood also, in several distinguished activity also, right? Operation Cocoon was headed by Vijay Kumar, IPS, right? He was a DG and IG after he retired, and he is a present advisory to Lieutenant Governor Vijay Kumar, K. Vijay Kumar. So he himself is a great legendary man. His way of knowledge towards the policing and administration is most commendable, and even security crunch is unbarkable. It is it is very huge, that means. So concentrate on the sphere of the Jammu and Kashmir and towards the Ladakh. There is a three segment here. One is the geographical condition, which is affected by the invade principle of the other states. Okay, that is Pakistan and China. And another one is the internal disturbance by the internal peoples, that is a mob violence. You know, if you concentrate the statistic velocity, more than 5,000 the pedal approach was there. That means stamp voting, the mob violence, more than 5,000 plus. And if you concentrate the ceasefire, earlier if you bifurcate the year until 2014 and after 2024, what was the condition? More than 800 ceasefire was there, but now only 35 ceasefire are there. And if you concentrate pedal approach or stamp voting, the 5,000 plus stamp voting was there. Whether it is a communal riot, whether it is a people marginal issue, whether it is an internal disturbance from the political parties, nothing over it. But now it is very marginal, very peaceful among all the security crunch we faced earlier. Now it is far better. So statistically, if you saw, we are exporting our apple, the Kashmiri apple and walnut, and there is also called as the sweaters, Kashmiri sweaters. It is also a GI tag, you know, it was famous in all over the world. So globally it has a stand. But despite why could not be, it is even though we have a supreme army, we have a supreme legacy of Air Force and defense in terms of the Navy, why we could not possible to deal the things in a propagate way of line of control and line of actual control means we are a neighborhood first policy, we was. But you know, once upon a time, one among the interview that Mr. Ajit Doval, he is a national security advisor. He is presently national security advisor in his age of 79 to 80 years, you know. He was an IPS, the cadre of Kerala, and he was distinguished director, a retired intelligence bureau. He quoted one word. Earlier we are not bothering about the security crunch in terms of the way it needs to be. Now it is the condition whether you pinpoint us in a $1 billion offer, we are offering you in a ballistic missile. That means if you cause me, I will definitely pay you. That was the agenda. So, this is all the true story or the true wordings of the Honorable NHK and Honorable the things who opinion by the Jammu Kashmir people on the scientific research and the political strategist which overwhelming the administration crunch over it. And considering this is the map, the huge map, India is such a big head capital, but despite this is the line of control that is 740 kilometers, and this is NAC, line of actual control that is 540 kilometers. This is our free India, this is the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and this is the Ladakh portion, and this is China occupied the Kashmir or Ladakh. You know what? Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory and Ladakh is also the Union Territory. Concentrating it, Jammu and Kashmir is this and Ladakh is this. Because of the adverse effect, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Haryana, more than that are very nominal here. India, Jammu Kashmir especially, are sharing the border nations in terms of three consecutive nations. One is Pakistan, that you know well about it. Another one is China, and another important factor is Afghanistan in a very, very tiny margin. Here, very, very tiny margin. This is in Afghanistan, right? Right? So, yes, of course, even though the Taliban is ruling Afghanistan right now, earlier it was a vulnerable situation because we faced many problems from the Taliban. But despite we are very friendly nation because we got an infrastructure towards it, 50% infrastructure done by us for in Afghanistan. So, Afghani and India is a bye in nature. So, this is a whole sector of consequences of the Jammu and Kashmir. This is the concept, it is not only the trench velocity, not only to develop the security manner. It is also the inclusive development. It was a statement by Honorable NHK Ajit Dovan itself. Earlier, we are bordering upon the security of the Jammu and Kashmir or the security intervention by the state monopolism of the Pakistan and also the China interventions. But now we are dealing the dialogue, the development, the inclusive society. That means along with the security, we are bothering about the development of the Jammu and Kashmir. And so far 50,000 lakh crore rupees were invested after 2019. IIT was there in Jammu Kashmir right now, and IIM, Indian Institute of Management Science, Indian Institute of Technology, AIMS are running up the show in terms of the Jammu and Kashmir. So it is also a part and part route. What was the actual reason? Number one is why it is the causes of the actions means. The causes of the fear. See, this is the chart I have emphasized. The early king was Maharaja Hari Singh. After that, the consecutive PMs were there and consecutive CMs were there. Now, 2019, it was in a union territory condition. And now the replica of the Jammu and Kashmir is presently in Umar Abdullah. He is a CM of the Jammu and Kashmir. And whereas in the considering of the Ladakh portion, this is the same segment because earlier, why, the administration of the Ladakh, why I mentioned J&K, means earlier it was a J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, right? Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh was there. Now it is divided, right? Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. That is a union territory. That's what. So earlier in the same condition, after the Lieutenant Governor insert happened, so first Radhakrishnan Mathur was first Lieutenant Governor of the Jammu and Kashmir, and presently Kaminder Gupta. He is also a great icon. And the constitutional status of the two icons, I have explained why the union territory, the legislative assembly of the CM post was there in Jammu and Kashmir, and later why it is not there in Ladakh. I have explained it. And if you concentrate the Jammu and Kashmir, the peninsula, the 42,241 square kilometers was there. But whereas you consider the Ladakh, 59,146 square kilometer. You know what? Even though the huge, 59,142 is huge comparatively Jammu and Kashmir, but the popularity is very less, 3 lakh. Whereas this is 1.23, right? Crores. Why means the kilometrical exchange and Himalaya crunch over and Akash Chin region. It is occupied by the Chinese intervention. Yes. So this is the brief dialogue of Jammu and Kashmir insert of NAC line of control, that is a Shimla agreement after 1972 and to Indo-Pak war. And if you concentrate the NAC, this is the Indo-China war of 1962 and it is not formally by the assessment. Okay? So this is what. And if you closely observe here, what is LOC, NAC I have explained. If you consider the statistic, Chinese transition of fall around the 50 plus PLA. What do you mean by that? If you consider the public interest litigation itself, there is a huge number of cases was there 2014. But now it is not. Because the condition objective is within the willingness of the people. The mind full of if the people is very smart, people is very peace enough, the obligated necessary is not happening up. So, what is needed? Comparatively, what is needed? A trust. When the trust will be gained, the Jammu and Kashmir is the peaceful. Because internal correct is very much, right? If the condition assessment in the, not in the internal correct, if it is in aggravated behavior from the Pakistan or if it is in China, we can handle it in a defense mode. We are not in offense mode, right? But in an internal correcting happen, the mutual consent is happening only one type, one is a trust game. Another one is information loading from the IB and RAW or the CAPF battalions and so forth. That is why I inculcate we have to gain the trust in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh people so that the development should be a Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Prayas. And this is the cause of action why the Jammu Kashmir was suffered and later in terms of the 2019 before and still now it is a small margin. Why? Means the poverty. The lot many things corruption was happened from the Jammu and Kashmir by the CMs and PMs of the Jammu and Kashmir, and they are not okay with the original popularity of the Jammu Kashmir, and they are bylagging the community crunch over the behavioral and aspect of the unemployment. They are very unemployed because you could not possible even to deal in a state itself to get an employment. Many Jammu Kashmirian people were coming up here. Other states to serve their condition in a livelihood. So this is what the actual condition of assessment. If you concentrate the behavioral aspect in a psychological way, the people's management is maintaining a rule of law, right? Why it is necessary? The people management, the cumulative effort. If the cumulative effort is not there and the political nexus will be happen, the trustee development is not there, how come the development progress? So this is one cause of ideal cause. It is also same for the mob violence chapter also, because internal disturbance is the mob violence, that may be a religious bias, that may be a monopolism of the political nexus, and the intervention of the public ideology difference. This is one concept. And if you consider the type of security challenges, both for line of actual control and the line of control, that is Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Chinese occupied Kashmir. One is the cross-border terrorism from the invention, and people are not managing well. When the people are managing, the crunch over the velocity of the development will be managed like anything. I had given an example, Uttarakhand. The state of Uttarakhand and even the northeast state, some of the part other than the Nagaland, they are very developed. Even though the 90 ratio of the center and 10% of the ratio of the state is there, but here the condition is why they are developed. That means the local administration is very strengthened enough. So in Jammu Kashmir, whereas it is not in the witness of the parents, so this is the problem. The condition assessment from the ruling to bottom-up approach should be matched in the top-down approach. Then only the whole process of the negotiation in terms of the administration will be propagated. So this is what the ideal situation, and we have a technology-driven policy right now in a security crunch even for the bullet. Bullet can fire, but bullet can stand by. Where we are using it, that is an application. Bullet can be seized. A gun can be okay with me, but gun can be managed like anything. Wherever it is necessary, we are not propagating it. That is what the problem. Earlier was the condition, each and every home they are having weapons. Either it is supplied by the other intervention of the state of Pakistan or the Chinese or some intervention, but this is the vulnerable situation. Even 5th standard, a boy can handle the machine like AK-47. Now, right now it is not the case. Operation Sudarshana, this is the flagship program, and so on. It is a technological driven, even drone intervention was there, robotic intelligence was there, GIS, that is a global information system, that is also there, GPS, global geographical position system. So, mention upon the technology intervention from the vulnerable state, like what the vulnerable state like Jammu and Kashmir is developing now. So, this is a chapter of the security in terms of. And if you consider the international best practice, one is the Good Friday Agreement from the Northern Ireland. Why I have given the several distinguished countries? One is Sri Lanka, another one is the Good Friday model, another one is South Korea and Colombia. Why? Many things, many states were intervened for these states. What was the actual repercussion? See, earlier we have a condition to snap ourselves. Now we are not bothering about who snapped ourselves. If someone are snapped, we definitely snapped it twice or thrice. There is no bother. Either he himself is snapped in a blood clot level, we are not bothered, because I will be bothering how much I can. That was the condition of youth now, and that was the condition of the soldiers now. That was the NSA speech. If you concentrate the challenge, and the Prime Minister is so willing to security and development and necessary actions. When there is no necessary action, then there is no growth. When there is a growth, then there is a upliftment. So all the Chinese linkage between in terms of the security towards the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh is maintaining the balance. It is like a check balance. Even not many things happened after 2019. Many were gone to Supreme Court itself to why it is abolished, the Article 370. It should be. The left wing and right wing. So Supreme Court himself is what they said, it was the right choice. It was the right agenda. Raja Hari Singh, I don't know why he is not okay with India, but despite after the invention of the throughout the year, 1947, now the independent India, I think is probably 79 to 80 years. Why it is not? So this is our land. It is our monarch, and it is a fruit basket of India. Why we are not maintaining that? You know what? Comparatively, the southern India, North India is not in a mode of dignity. Also, comparatively in the northern India, if you concentrate the Jammu and Kashmir region, we are not accepting it. Even northeast India, the people figure out like a Chinese intervention. We are not figuring out whether they are Assami, whether they are Tripura or Nagaland and so on. That was the racism, right? So this was the situation earlier. So vulnerability, when there is a vulnerability in a mutual dialogue, then there is no upliftment, even after the state. The center is in a main key pillar, it should not be boss, and state should be the development mode, it should not be boss. The boss is the democracy. That's why in constitutional mechanism, the preamble laid in a foundation, we the people of India having solemnly to regard to constitute secular democratic republic to secure and so on. The why it is called as a sovereign. Sovereign means We are considering all, we are the foundation and the benchmark with the Constitution preamble, right? So this is one choice, and if you concentrate the articles, right to freedom of choice, earlier it was not there because of the internal disturbance from the Jammu and Kashmir peoples and the political nexus. Right now it is free. Jammu and Kashmir, even though even MBBS students were going Jammu and Kashmir to travel to have an education there. Jammu and Kashmir aims. And if you concentrate the border area development program means anything which is infrastructure BRO, infrastructure development, whether it is a small project, whether it is an irrigated project, or it is a huge project, the mentioning upon. The same quality which need to be a 90:10 that was given, and more than a 50 lakh crores of investment were pouring upon the Jammu and Kashmir. Not only the government, it is also a work of private. Even though the corporate social responsibility maintaining upon the giving the project, our Honorable Ratan Tata was keep in mind to give, or their condition was so high. So even Ambani and the Rani group, they are inventing the Jammu and Kashmir. So developing Jammu and Kashmir in a bare eye was very happy, right? Anybody who saw ever concern the development in a bare eye, in a happiness, that is a security, that is a growth, that is a development. Is there any doubt? Thank you.